shit, man. Let's get into it, bro. Like, I mean, I've checked out a lot of your. It's funny because this is the funniest thing about like creating content, right? And I want to ask you if you like have the same feeling. You'll watch somebody's content from like afar, and you kind of put like an identity in your mind of like who they are, and then like you see a picture of them or a video or something like when they reveal face on camera, and it's like, oh, they just seem so different than what I anticipate. And then also the other half is like, how would you classify your content? Because like I'm shocked how intriguing that you can maintain by just talking like in a straight flow, because that shit is hard, and you kind of just go with like a stream of consciousness now. Like I'm amazed at how you pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, well, I appreciate that, man, thank you. But in terms of putting a name to content, I used to get weird about it, but I think now, having been watching people for a long time, I'm never really too surprised by what I see. I think the one that surprised me the most was Dota Doya, the Dragon Ball Z content creator.
Yeah.
When I saw him, I was like, I did not expect that.
Bro, he sounds like a game show host or some shit. Then you see him, it's like he looks like a kid. I was amazed. Yeah. I watched him for like 2 years before I saw him, so I know exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah, in terms of talking, in my work life, I've always had like either like managerial roles or like dealing with loads of people at one time and speaking to loads of people. So, and I'm the eldest in my family. I'm one of the eldest cousins. So I'm used to like having to speak to people constantly and having to constantly think on my feet. So if I get an idea in my head, I can usually piece things together very quickly.
Yeah, because I think I was watching you probably like ironically, like with my girlfriend, I was watching you like a few months ago one night, and I think you were talking about the state of Mortal Kombat 1 as far as like before this recent patch, and things kind of like semi went the right direction, but it was like when Mortal Kombat was like in this really bad state as far as like the Evo registrations and stuff. And I was amazed because I was like, he's talking Mortal Kombat, but he has on a different game in the background. But it's like the focus of being able to have that, like, are you playing that game live, or do you just put it in there like post edit? Or are you playing that game live while talking?
No, I never play the games live. Okay. I always play with my friends like in private, or I'll take something from the streams and then I'll overlay it. Because I think it's gotten to the point of my content now where people are not too interested in what I'm playing. They're more interested in what I have to say. Apart from Tekken, maybe. I think people are interested in to see what I'm doing with Feng Wei, but other than that, I can kind of, which is nice because I don't feel like I'm boxed into having to show people one specific game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think sometimes like it's funny because it's I guess I'm breaking away from it lately. It wasn't really ever intentional, but it was like in Mortal Kombat 11, I recorded every single character on the game except Setron, right? That was like my thing, like being good with everybody and like being saucy. So like I would give commentary which people would enjoy, but they would also enjoy seeing me play. And what happened is Mortal Kombat 1, it's not, I don't want to say it's not enjoyable, but of all the best fighting games that are out right now, plus me still being a DBFZ fan, it's definitely at the bottom for me. You know what I'm saying? Not because it's awful, but it's just like Tekken, Street Fighter 6, and Dragon Ball FighterZ are like up here. And then we have 2XKO that's like got the bait out and that's doing very well, right? So it's like Mortal Kombat 1 is kind of at the bottom for me, but it's the main thing my viewers want to see me play, but I just don't find it to be that enjoyable. Or enjoyable in comparison to everything else. If that was the only game out, maybe. But I mean, I've played Mortal Kombat probably twice since Cicaда's been out.
Well, the thing is that I've watched your content for quite some time, and you as well as like some other Mortal Kombat YouTubers, and I can definitely see there's been a shift. It almost feels like some people feel like they like you said, people want to see them play Mortal Kombat and they don't want to play anymore because the passion's not there. And I think with MK1, it's a difficult situation because this is the game that they're saying they're going to push for a long time. So it's kind of like we're stuck with this game now. People are not pleased with it. It's a very like, everyone's at each other's necks over it. If you speak about it positively, they call you a shill. If you speak about it negatively, they say, get off Mortal Kombat's back.
Me?
I saw your tweet. I saw what happened with that tweet. I retweeted you. I was cracking up. But you can't win. So in my mind, the people that watch my videos kind of know that I'm going to play whatever I want to play. And if people don't like it, it's tough. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just that I spent money on this game. It really annoyed me, and I'm not going to sit here and torture myself playing it when we've got Sparking Zero, Black Myth, Space Marine, all these good games coming out. I'm not going to waste my time on a game that's not even fully finished yet.
So you like completely in a negative state on Mortal Kombat 1 right now? That's where you stand at?
Yeah, I've been a Mortal Kombat fan all my life. Like I've got the figurines over here. I've got loads of Mortal Kombat merch in my room. So for me, it's like Mortal Kombat is the most successful fighting game franchise of all time. from what I understand, it's generated the most revenue for either Midway or NRS or WB, wherever it's gone. And the fact that they can't give us a product that's working in a coherent state from day one that was my stance. Like, I'm not giving you any more of my money because you didn't provide us with a good product. I wouldn't mind it if it was like MK9. I didn't like MK9. I appreciate it though as a game. I thought this is a good product. It's just not for me. But MK1 was broken on release, and they continued to break things. They released seasons that didn't even match up with the theme. The online wasn't working. There was no crossplay. King of the Hill was a mess. Character balancing's all over the place. The meta is always a mess. So I was like, this isn't a place of hating Mortal Kombat because I love the franchise. I was watching MK Conquest today, but MK1 itself, yeah, I'm completely hands off of it.
Yeah, I would say like kind of the things that you mentioned, because a lot of people kind of like they err on the side of gameplay, right? Which is usually like the most important thing. And I think there was a time when we felt that the gameplay was incredible just because of comparing it to Mortal Kombat 11, even though personally I like Mortal Kombat 11 more. But I think that was more of like a little bit of wishful thinking. You're excited for something new. But then when you kind of start looking at the quality of life stuff, it made you step back and think, did they even put any effort into this project? Because like, while Mortal Kombat 11 may have had its issues, I said this is the way I kind of explain it. I feel that Mortal Kombat 11 was made with love, right? And I feel that Mortal Kombat 1 was made with money in mind. That's at least how it feels. I could be completely wrong on that, but just based on all the things you mentioned that weren't part of the game, we still don't know where Warrior Shrine is to this day. They make amazing trailers. Like, the trailers look awesome. The Chaos Reigns trailer, it looks incredible. So they're good at like selling or pitching the game, but I just kind of wonder, where is the care or like the precaution to make sure that things are right? Because in my opinion, that game shouldn't be released until right about now. Like, if it was made with care and properly handled, it should be coming out in the summer. But it seems like, I don't know if it was like a golden era thing or like a worry about the quality of their games, but it seems like they wanted to be on par with Tekken and Street Fighter in release schedule, but the quality is just not even remotely close. Like, and I knew that from Tekken 8 beta, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, with Mortal Kombat 11, I didn't like the design philosophy behind it, but I never called it an unfinished game. It was clearly packed with content. You could tell that it wasn't the direction that I wanted them to go in, but they had a clear direction and they were pumping content into the game, even if it wasn't stuff that I necessarily liked. But with MK1, you can see that it has been made with like what's the best way to put it? Like, you know, the whole loot boxes, microtransactions, constant rotating store. It feels predatory to me. And I know that Tekken has had problems with its battle pass. I definitely think the Tekken battle pass is a pile of garbage. I'll never ever defend it. But the way Mortal Kombat is set up is, for me, it just doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat. If you remove the title from Mortal Kombat 1, you could put anything else there. It's
like Injustice 3 almost, like Injustice 2.5 or something like that.
Yeah, you can see Injustice all over it.
See, the thing that confuses me, because like they keep talking about like supporting the game, and so I was having this same talk with Sikander a few weeks ago, and I was saying that in my opinion, the way to save the game is they have to 100% go with a 2v2 mode. I don't think it's going to happen because maybe like when it comes to manpower or just like the dev hours, how can you make that happen? But from like a representational standpoint, as far as like statistics versus other games, it's no way that they're feeling positive about this. And it feels that they keep trying to pump us on this cameo stuff. And I think the cameo, like, it's like if the foundation is bad, then how can the game ever be great? Cameos is a terrible idea in my opinion. Some are fun, it's unbalanced, but overall, it just seems that if we're gonna have a lifetime of this cameo stuff, I think the game doesn't have a chance. And I think the one thing that could save it is full 2v2. I don't know if that means that you make the cameos full characters or you take the cameos out and make the other parts of the roster have tag-based buttons and then like combo switches or something like that. But I just don't think that this game can survive in its current state because you're essentially putting like icing on top of a shitty cake over and over and saying, hey, check this out. That's how it feels to me.
Yeah. I think from the FGC's perspective, Mortal Kombat 1 is pretty much dead. But in terms of sales and based on what they're saying, what the general trajectory for MK1 is, it seems very much alive because MK1 is apparently still in the top 20 selling games every month. So from a sales perspective and as far as WB is concerned, I guess it's a success, which isn't good for the FGC guys or people that want to play it more seriously because it means that what they're doing is working. So why would they change it? So whenever people message me saying what can they do to save MK1, I'm like, MK1 doesn't need saving. It's just not the game for the competitive player. It's more like a party game. and 2v2 is a mode that is just going to cost them more money to produce when Cameos is working with casuals. Apparently they're not even introducing new cameos with the new pack, so it doesn't even seem like they need to try as hard as people might want them to.
Yeah, I was somebody pointed out something in like the trailer for, and I'm sure you've seen that new clip of Cyrax, the one that's going to be coming out tomorrow. So something that somebody pointed out to me in Chaos Reigns, and I don't know how accurate it was, but I think they might have had a point. If you notice all the clips of the gameplay, it was only one-on-one. They never showed a cameo come in. So I don't know if that means that no new cameos are coming, or could there potentially be a 1v1 mode coming, or some type of selected mode that we can just use to have more fun online. And I thought that was interesting because they always push that, but I don't think I've seen a cameo promoted in I don't think I've seen anybody since Farah. Any type of new cameo, or I don't think I've seen that in the Chaos Reign. I could be wrong, but I don't think I saw it. And even in the Cyrax clip today, it's just Cyrax versus, I forgot who it was, maybe Sub-Zero. I can't remember who she was going against in the clip, but that's what I think I saw.
I don't think it's necessarily an indication that 1v1's coming. I think it's more of a marketing strategy, that if they show off a pre-existing cameo, you'll get people going, where's the new cameo? Rather than just focusing on the character itself and not selling people, or not trying to plant the idea in their head that cameos are not going to be a thing in this season, in terms of us not giving you new ones. I think they're just trying to keep the attention on what they've got and quietly just leave people with what they've got in the game right now. Because again, if the game is selling very well and they can sell the characters in the bundle at the same price that you would have gotten a cameo for, because they normally ship a cameo and a character, right? But if they can just sell the bundle with characters at the same price with Chaos Reigns, then is there a need to put more cameos in the game? It just, again, it seems very predatory to me. I don't think there's going to be a 1v1 mode. I'd be happy to be wrong. I'd be more than happy to be proven wrong. As a matter of fact, I wish that I was wrong so MK1 can catch a W, but I don't see that being the case.
So it's almost like you and me kind of got the same perspective and we just got there the different ways. Like, I'm more or less disappointed with the lack of content and maybe the lack of creativity within the game. It feels like it's very boxed in, and then all the cameos aren't that interesting. And so that's why I'm hoping for a 2v2. You, on the other hand, your perspective is more like the ethics behind the entire product. It feels like very shady and intentionally off brand for whatever MK11 was. And I don't know if that's based on WB. And I did see that news about them potentially selling off some of their different franchises. I'm hoping Mortal Kombat's within that if that does happen. But to you, it feels like more of an ethics thing where you feel like you're intentionally selling us shit and trying to call it ice cream or something like that. That's how it comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely the business practices really put me off the game, but you could win me over if the gameplay was fun, because right now, Helldivers 2, for example, I play that all the time, and the community is absolutely roasting the developers. It's being cooked alive. And for me, it's I hear everything that everybody's saying. They're completely valid. They're right. They do keep nerfing the guns, but I use one gun. I've used the same gun since day one. I've used the same grenade, so I haven't been affected by all the changes that are being made to the game. But for all the people that like using different guns, they're ruining the game for them, because apparently people can't beat on Super Helldive mode. Me and my boy play on Super Helldive all the time, and we always finish the missions. So I'm not being affected by the changes to the game. I still find it fun. But that's not to say there's not bad business practices with the game. So with Mortal Kombat 1, if the actual core gameplay felt coherent to me and it felt like it wasn't so glitchy and lopsided, then I could probably be I can kind of ignore the business side of it, because I'm still having fun with the core product. And that's what I find with Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6. I don't like the monetization of Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 8, and so I don't engage with it at all. I haven't purchased anything on Tekken 8 outside of the initial collector's edition, because the core gameplay is still fun, especially now that they've nerfed Heat quite a bit. But MK1 just doesn't have that. It doesn't have, for me, it's not fun. Bad monetization, predatory business practices, poor updates. Combat cost half the time. They spend more time on birthday shouts than they do actually explaining what we want to hear. So I'm just here to I mean, I guess I should owe some thanks to Mortal Kombat 1 in some sense, because it was me ranting on that game that boosted my YouTube channel. So there's that takeaway from it. But outside of that, the core product itself is dog shit.
Yeah, see, it's funny because I had a lot of people. That's actually why like I would get some of the hate that you would see on Twitter, like when I say negative things about Mortal Kombat 1, because they would be like, "Well, Mortal Kombat built your channel," and it's like, I mean, I guess to some extent that is true because I played it, but I feel like whatever I put my time into, it would have expanded the same way with Tekken. My philosophy when it comes
also, and like
I mean, like
Mortal Kombat 1 built our channel. Where are they going with that point?
Yeah, exactly. Like they'll say this to me because I think it's because I've also said that I want an official relationship with NRS, but I won't say things that I don't believe in to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like at the end of the day, like if you don't have any credibility with your audience, like what do you have? You know what I'm saying? Even if you're wrong about your opinion, if it's genuinely your opinion, that's all that really matters. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Tekken and like kind of what you mentioned about monetization, my philosophy is if I'm having fun, I'm willing to pay. So it's like I bought the first battle pass because it had some stuff in it that I liked. I haven't bought the second one only because that doesn't have things I don't like. And even like with Apex Legends or other games, I'm willing to pay for fun. You know what I'm saying? So like if I'm having a good experience and this is helping you guys keep the lights on, or even you're being a little bit greedy and trying to get some overhead, I really don't care if I support the game because I feel like at the end of the day, I'm just helping make the product better. That's kind of my philosophy to some extent.
Yeah, for me, because I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 1. Like I started on Tekken 2, but I started on Tekken 1, sorry, but it was at the time of Tekken 2's like being about in Tekken 3 and all that. But my parents got me the first one, so I've been playing it since day one. And the things in the battle pass I've seen in previous Tekken games before, and I know Harada's saying that having them in Tekken 8 costs more money and you can't just repurpose it. I don't know that I believe that, but I don't have any proof to suggest that, so I'm just like, I'm not going to buy it. I don't believe you, so I'm not going to engage with it. There is a way to win me over. I'm not so stubborn that I won't indulge in it, but I think you do have to provide people with something worthwhile. Like I love Tekken 8. I think it's a good product, but not everything in it is perfect.
What would you say is, if you're playing all these different fighting games outside of the other games you're playing, what would you say is the best fighting game out right now? Because I didn't play Tekken, the older Tekkens. I kind of got in late around like 2021 for Tekken 7. But of all the games I'm playing, I 100% play Tekken 8 the most. Tekken 8 and Dragon Ball FighterZ because like I love Dragon Ball FighterZ. I think that's the best fighting game of all time. I know people don't agree with me, but I just love it because it made me want to make content. But Tekken 8 is really, while tilting, it's really good. Like it's hard to just not, like I play it every single day, literally every day.
Yeah, I think Tekken 8 is the best fighting game out right now. I think that Tekken 8 doesn't help itself with its rank system because it's such a complex fighting game. You need long sets to really figure out who the better player is, and I don't think you need to like have every single match as a death match. But I do think 2 out of 3 in ranks is a bit shit for Tekken. It doesn't really make sense. So I think that in the actual core gameplay, when I'm sitting online with my friends and we're in player match and we're just playing, I'm having the best time. I think it's the best fighting game available of the modern ones. But it has things in it that lets it down. But it is year one, so because I'm having fun, I'm willing to give it a chance. Same with Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter is a really well done product in terms of gameplay. Everything is like very tightly knit. I know people have a problem with Bison, but again, like most DLC characters come out and they're really strong and then they nerf them, so I'm not too bothered about that. Also, I'm a Bison main, so it works out perfectly for me. But Dragon Ball FighterZ I think is really good, but I enjoy watching Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't like playing it. I don't like playing 2D anime fighters. I'm shit at them, if I'm being honest. I can't wrap my head around them.
If you put some time into it though, you think you'd be nice at it?
No, well, it's a game, so I guess if you put time into any game, you can get to a certain level. But I don't have fun playing it. Dragon Ball is my favorite anime, and so that says a lot. That style of game is just not for me. But I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is a fantastic game. I love watching it. I'm always watching his name's Zeus's, the replay channel. He always uploads people.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I think it's supposed to be Zeus. I could be wrong.
Is it Zeus?
I think it's
Zeus. Is it spelled with an X?
Yeah, I try to sound it out, and I was like, I think it's like Zeus's or something. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I think Zeus maybe.
Yeah, I always watch his channel. I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is really, really fun. I think Guilty Gear's fun to watch. I recently came across this character that has like a book, and inside his book there's like a universe inside it. So he's quite fun to like watch. Street Fighter's fun to watch. Mortal Kombat is not fun to watch.
Yeah,
it's not fun to play. I tell you what though, it was fun to watch Mortal Kombat Evo, because when I was streaming it, we were looking out for glitches because of how glitchy like Homelander was in that. I don't think there was many glitches at Evo, but yeah, MK1 just feels like the worst right now, which is a shame because I do want Mortal Kombat to get back to where it used to be.
Yeah, like I'm invested in it being great in that same way, but it's like I think just like with us being in 2024 and all the different games I've played, and then like me saying like I love Dragon Ball. Like for instance, I really didn't watch the anime that much. The game got me to watching Dragon Ball Super because like I wanted to. The moves are so specific and the presentation is so great that it made me be like, hey, like let me check this out. Then I would watch the show. I'm like, oh, that's the move right there. Like you can see the animation is like right on the money, right? So that was pretty dope to me. And then it's like when it comes to Mortal Kombat, as far as like their tag system, Dragon Ball Fighters is actually directly what makes me not enjoy Mortal Kombat 1. And it's just small things. It's not even about like the game itself. Like for instance, if you do like a Rico command grab and you call Darius, I hate that the main character falls to continue the combo. Little shit like that to me is just dumb. And it's like, it makes me feel like that's what I mean when I come back to the point about like handling the game with care, like making it with love. There should be a better way to put this together. You know what I'm saying? Even if like the main character just doesn't fall, but when it gets like glitchy and clunky, it may work, but that's still not interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my thing. I think in 2024, presentation is a really big deal. And I think the best fighting games out right now are the ones with great presentation, like Tekken, like Street Fighter 6. And I don't even play Street Fighter that much. I play it sparingly, but Dragon Ball Fighters and then even Guilty Gear. Like I played a little bit of Guilty Gear. It's just presentation and like making something look awesome. And that's what I feel like the Mortal Kombat 11 was great at. I don't know how they went this direction outside of just greed and money. And it like people will call me like negative for it, but it's like, it's just not, I'm not nitpicking, but I mean, you feel the same way.
Yeah, it's not a negative. Like we said before, we've been Mortal Kombat fans all our lives. We're just not going to glaze the game just because it's Mortal Kombat. The problem is that MK's logo, its name is like a Ferrari badge. If you slap it on anything, people are going to play it. And so NRS probably knows that, and WB knows they have some leeway to mess about with the fans and not give them the best product. And they might be able to get away with that in this game and the next game, but at some point all empires fall. And at some point people will turn their backs on it if they don't keep up to date with the other fighting games that are on the market, because people will look at MK and they'll look at characters randomly falling out of their own combos, and then look at Tekken where everything is very smooth and it looks like a proper martial arts fight. You look at Street Fighter is the one game where if you slow it down it looks even better. And then you slow down MK, you've got these clunky animations, you got things that don't really make sense, you've got annoying mechanics, down ones are still poorly implemented. And then, like you said, you call a character in to extend the combo, and your character just flops out of it and gets back up and continues it. And it's a bit like, did you even bother?
Yeah, like where's the effort? So some people will watch this video and they'll say that kind of what you said earlier about like if you're showing love, you're a shield. If you're knocking the game, it's like get off his back. So okay, we've said like what our issues are. If you were to try to save MK, what would you change specifically? Like what would Mike Hollow do to make the game better and just save it in general?
I think Mortal Kombat's core, MK1's core is the problem. And because of that, I don't know how you save the game without completely gutting it. There's so many things in the game that are just, they're very lopsided. I think the main thing that you would do to MK1 without changing what MK1 is fundamentally, otherwise you just make a whole new game, is I think you would turn the characters into archetypes. So you would have like Goro as the grappling cameo, and you would have maybe Sub-Zero as the cameo that lets you play more defensively, or Scorpion as a cameo that makes you play more rushdown. Like have them have specific jobs rather than this is the cameo for this season, everybody's going to use her, then we're going to nerf her, this is now the cameo like Chameleon, everybody spam Chameleon, now everybody's spamming Farah. That wouldn't happen if you had archetypes, because I might like playing grapplers. So you can bring out a 50-50 character, but if you've designed my grappler correctly and there's enough complexity in the design, I can figure out ways to deal with the new meta, which is what you see with like Street Fighter, you see with Tekken, people figure things out with their main because the rosters, the characters have a very expansive moveset. There's multiple ways to approach it. So I'd expand the scope of the cameos and I would give them their own types. Each cameo should do its own thing. I don't think there should be much crossover between them. Otherwise, you're going to get people spamming the same cameo.
Yeah, see, I've thought about this, and I think like 2v2 is my solution because that was wishful thinking. I don't see that happen. I'm holding out hope, but I really don't see that happening. What I think, this is kind of what I think like in regards to cameos, like if they have to be there, right? The thing that I love about fighters is that You can pick any single character on the game, and whatever you would like to do strategy-wise, more than likely that character has a way to do that. Now, they do have 3 different options per assist, so that kind of helps. But in reality, Mortal Kombat 1, those characters have the same thing because the direction cameo does a different thing. My frustration is, let's say that, like, I remember this is the day I start finding myself disappointed in like the cameo system, because I was running my main team of Liu Kang and Serena and like a couple of other characters like that for a while. But I remember when I tried to pick up Reptile, I literally went through the entire cameo roster and I selected every single one of them. And I knew that Honeybee was running Reptile Scorpion, so I tried to avoid it. By the time I got done going through the whole roster, I felt obligated to use Scorpion to play the way that I wanted to play with that character. So my frustration is kind of, they should make everybody able to do everything like in a viable way. Like you're saying, like more archetype based, and I do get that. But like, for instance, if I want to extend combos with Goro, I should be able to do that. If I randomly want to pick up a cameo I've never played before, like Darius, I should be able to find a way to use him. It feels like he's only meant to be used one way, and it's like, what if I don't want to play that style? Like, if I don't want to play Reiko, I don't really have a reason to use Darius. Or like, I'm a Liu Kang main. Liu Kang doesn't really have much mix, so it's hard to kind of put in mix with Darius when Liu Kang doesn't have any mix to complement that. You know what I'm saying? I think that they should find ways to adjust that, but I don't think that they can. And that's why I think overall the foundation is going to be like bad for the duration of the game, which sucks to say. But if you don't take cameos out and make it full 2v2, I don't really know how you like build a house on top of that foundation. And that's kind of my gripe with the whole thing.
Yeah, I also think that the counterplay in this game, although it does exist, because I've seen Ketchup and Mustard cover it before, I don't think counterplay exists very fairly. Like, there's ways to beat things. Like, I've seen how you deal with Pharah.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in an actual match, in a live situation, it's much easier said than done. And I think the frustration people feel is that it's very lopsided. It doesn't feel like you're about to make a decision and I'm going to make a decision of equal parts, and one of us is going to come out on top. It feels like you're at the mercy of Pharah, and you might guess right, or you might do the correct flawless block, but you're basically at their mercy. I think that's the main problem that people have, especially with the amount of damage the cameo does. But I think that having too many things cross over will inevitably make something obsolete. So like, from my understanding, Serena was good at extending combos so you would get more damage. But then Chameleon came out, so it was a bit like,
you don't see Serena
why do we use Serena anymore? You know, why would you give Chameleon something so similar to a character pre-existing and then also make Chameleon stronger in every other aspect? That's why I'm like a big advocate for having characters that do very specific things, so you don't have someone like Serena who is just forgotten about, and you don't have cameos that they nerf a cameo like Cyrax and then the problem gets transferred to Striker. And it's just like, you're not creating a place where people want to learn and explore. You're creating a place where people are funneled into picking one type.
You know, you do have a point, because I started off with Liu Kang Serena, and I didn't do this consciously, so I didn't notice it. You just made me realize it when you said it, actually. But it was like, I did leave Serena hanging because Chameleon does the same thing, and then when Movado came out, because he does what I want to do combo wise, and I don't really care so much about the mobility of Chameleon and the switching, like the timer switching. So it did kind of like force me to subconsciously make the decision. So I actually do see your point with that, as far as you want specifics, so to be like, this character is for this thing, which I guess does make sense in the grand scheme of things. Because now that you say that, I did abandon Serena, and then I did abandon Chameleon for the exact reason that you just said. I just didn't do it consciously. It just kind of happened on accident. But now that you say it, brought to my attention, makes sense.
Yeah, they force you to pick whatever cameos doing the most things, because they don't allow character specialists to really thrive. Like, if I was a specialist with, let's say, like General Shao and Goro, I would be high damage and grappling. And so the high damage would come from General Shao, and the grappling archetype will come from Goro. And I could really specialize and hone in on how I'm going to construct that team. But what they do is they give Goro the ability to like either trap you in place or extend the combo, and then they give another character the ability to do the exact same thing but just better. And then you're like, well, why would I use Goro if I can just do this? You know, you might want to use Goro because you want to separate yourself from the herd, but ultimately you're just killing yourself, because this cameo is so much better and does the same thing. So it's them not having character archetypes is just, they must be able to see it themselves. They bring out a new character, they bring out a new cameo, and everyone just moves to the cameo, and it's just like, well, what's the point in all the other cameos?
Yeah, and it's shitty because like I've used Goro one time because of his crazy damage, but I have kind of had that thing where it's like I see everybody using something, so I try to go the opposite way. But then like when that thing gets nerfed, you kind of feel like you missed out. It's like, well, I didn't get to play none of the broken shit. But it does get boring. Like I remember when Baraka Striker was a thing, I hated the game. And the crazy thing is like I'll go on and rant about that because like for instance, when you said the thing about like exchanging a neutral situation and one of us should win for making the right decision, that last clip that I had that went viral on Twitter when I kicked Quan Chi like 3 times and then I still got punished after the fact. The one thing that kind of bothers me about like the Mortal Kombat community is we love the franchise, I get it, but we justify like a lot of nonsense, and I think that kind of hurts the game's like lifespan in general. Because like if you have an exchanging situation with me and you have this armor thing coming in, while that may make logical sense of how it works, that doesn't mean that it's a good design. Like if you get hit 3 times and that stops my combo, I just think that's stupid, and I don't really play games that do things like that. So I don't know, like I just think that this is like a one-off situation that's going to be pretty much bad. I think the game will be officially dead within 2 years unless they overhaul it in a way we don't see coming, which would take hella manpower. Then I think we'll never ever see like a Mortal Kombat assist game again. My only frustration is that because this is doing so poorly reputation-wise, it almost obligates them to come out with Injustice 3 next, which means that the next good Mortal Kombat game might not come to like 2030. Because let's say that this lasts to like 2026 at best. Then Injustice comes out, that runs from 26, 27 to 29, then maybe we get Mortal Kombat in 30. That's what I don't like about it, because we're stuck with this for essentially 6 years in my opinion. I don't see them making 4 Mortal Kombat games in a row.
It might be a good opportunity for them to take some heat off of the franchise and let it cool off, because I'm always going to have time for Mortal Kombat. I grew up playing it, so if they drop another trailer saying MK2 or whatever they decide to call it is coming out, I'll be there to like, and I really want to love Mortal Kombat. And I was playing Deception today. So if it comes out in 2030, that might be enough time for people to be like, okay, it's been a long time since we got a Mortal Kombat game. Let's all like lock in and be positive. And I'll try my best to be positive about it, because I imagine after all this time, they're going to come out with something that's completely fresh, which is kind of the problem with Mortal Kombat to begin with. There's no legacy with it.
Exactly. I was just going to say that when you said that. Yep, 100%.
Yeah. There's no legacy. So the problem now that I have is that you can't really build an MK1 because it's a bit of a dumpster fire. So now you have to start again. But then it's like, do we want them to start again? Because we might just find ourselves at square one. And I'm just like, I think they need to call in some veterans within the FGC, or people that have like very good ideas behind fighting game design philosophy. They don't necessarily have to be players, but I think they do need some external help, because Mortal Kombat's going to sell regardless. If you slap Mortal Kombat on something, people are going to buy it. It's like the Call of Duty of fighting games at this point. So I think if you bring in more knowledgeable people to make your game a little bit more nuanced and coherent, it's not going to hurt the franchise. It'll make your core player base happy. And the best marketing is word of mouth. So if your core player base is happy, they'll tell everybody else to buy it. Right now, when people ask me, should I get Mortal Kombat, I always say no, don't buy it.
I feel you on that. Like, my thing is, you should be able to read the room, right? So it's like, if you just want to look at legacy games in general, if you look at Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, they're just better versions of what they already were. And people have some gripes, like with Heat or like with Drive Rush. Like, people are always going to find something to complain about. That's just like human nature, you know what I'm saying? But overall, I think if you want to go off reputation, then I guess you could say MKX. I didn't really play that much MKX, but I know that a lot of people enjoyed that game. So like, if you want to go off reputation, there's that. If you want to go off numbers and performance, Mortal Kombat 11 did sell 15 million copies over the course of 4 to 5 years. So that kind of tells you, hey, we had lightning in the bottle right here. So why do we have lightning in the bottle? Was it based on the gameplay, the character design, the mood of the game? Because personally, I think Mortal Kombat 12 is the way to go. And when I say Mortal Kombat 12, I just mean Mortal Kombat 11 without the problems that Mortal Kombat 11 have. So like, no stupid breakaway stuff, no over the top moves for like certain characters that can be just busted and like abused, like slight gas cabal and stuff like that. But I think that's the way to go. Now, granted, I'm a little bit biased because I really did enjoy MK11, but I think that's the way to go. Like, it can be a different direction, but overall, like, there needs to be like a foundation. It's like, okay, we keep building this. So then Mortal Kombat 12, Mortal Kombat 13, etc. But it's like, we know where we're getting, and it's just enhanced in some type of way. Because like Tekken 8, the upgrade from Tekken, like, I've only played Law in Tekken 7, and I moved him to Tekken 8. the way that Tekken 8 feels so much better than 7, but if you played 7, you can kind of jump into 8 and kind of understand and get going. That's amazing to me. And the same thing with Street Fighter 6. Like, I wasn't that good at Street Fighter 5. I played it late, but I like the transition of going forward. And I would feel like if there was Dragon Ball Fighters 2, it should be the same way. It's kind of what you said about like them having no foundation. It kind of ruins things. So it's like, what do we pick from when we make our next game? It would have to be 11 because, I mean, it did the best in the pandemic with no support.
Yeah, in terms of sales, MK11 is definitely the way you would go. It's not something I would like to see. I started off very happy on MK11, and then over time, as I played it more and more and got to like a higher level, I started to like really dislike some of the things in it, especially Breakaway was one of the worst things I'd ever seen. Yeah. I also thought that, what were they called again? That weird gimmick they had in it where it was like a combo, counter hit.
Oh, Flawless Block. I love Flawless Block. Are you talking about Flawless Block?
No, not Flawless Block. What was it called? You know when
KBs.
You get the
special... You're talking about KBs. I like KBs.
Crushing blows.
I like them. I can't even lie to you.
The problem with crushing blows is that they weren't fairly implemented. Like, you had some characters that could easily access them, like Gyarados. And then you had characters like Noob Saibot, where one of them was just inaccessible because of the way you designed his moveset. So it's like, if you're going to implement a system like that, you need to actually balance it properly, because you have some characters who are killing you in 3 hits because they can just access it off pressing square 3 times. Yeah. And then you got someone like Noob Saibot who there's no reason to stand block against him.
You talking about his back 3 grab? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one could hit that until they brought in the customs. It was impossible to hit because there's no reason to not be blocking that. So I didn't like that. I also didn't like the fact that it was in throws. So I thought that was a horrible, horrible design choice. I personally would like them to go back to 3D, but I know that's not going to happen. That's just a personal thing
3D
for me.
MK?
Yeah, the 3D MK games to me they had the most potential to be the most fun. And I think with all the money they've got now and all the influence they've got, they can really create something that's really cinematic and fun to play. The 2D ones, for what Mortal Kombat is, feels like a little bit restrictive, because you've got all these supernatural characters and all of these abilities, but you're on like a 2D playing field, and it just feels like with the 3D ones, there was a bit more room to go a bit crazy. The stage designs were really cool. The music was really, really good. I know people are not a big fan of it, and they think that it's like they're trying to be like Tekken, but if you've played the 3D Mortal Kombat games, they're nothing like Tekken. It's like saying Virtua Fighter's Tekken or DOA's Tekken. They're obviously not. Yeah. But that's a personal choice for me. That's where I would like to see it go. But as long as people are happy, if people are happy and I don't get the game that I like, then I'm cool with it. But I know majority of people ain't happy with MK1.
No, that they can't be. I think they were trying to force it. And it's just weird thing because I don't really understand it, because like even when I get attacked for it, it's like I like the franchise. I want it to do well. Like I genuinely love the franchise. And I mean, that was before like it built my channel. I just liked it because I grew up on Mortal Kombat. I had like when I was a kid, like in 1995 or some shit. So it's like I've been around it forever. But overall, I want to see them do well. But it feels like I don't feel like that there's the toxicity that I get in Mortal Kombat, the community. I don't get that anywhere else. I don't get that in Tekken. Like even like if I'm ranting about something in Tekken, like ranting about like Armor on Hitter King, I don't end up with like 500 Tekken icons in my replies telling me that I'm trash. It's only in Mortal Kombat.
I think the Mortal Kombat player base, in spite of it being an 18 plus, is actually very young. I feel like a lot of youngsters play Mortal Kombat. I feel like there's a big crossover between like very casual games like FIFA and COD and Fortnite and all that with Mortal Kombat. I think also it's reflected in its sales, because it's the highest selling fighting game. You're going to have more casuals picking it up, so you're going to have more people that just they see it, they think it's a good game, and then they hear us and they're like, what are these guys bitching about, and they start their bullshit, rather than understand that it's like I said with Helldivers. I'm a casual on Helldivers. I love the game, I have no issues with it, but the community absolutely hates it. That's like me going to the community and being like, you're all idiots, just shut up and play the game. Like the people saying that, they must be children. They have to be, because no sane adult is going to go to somebody's video and get upset because you're critiquing their favorite game. Yeah, well, that, and outside of the fact that I think this could be like a bad generalization for me to make, but I feel like as far as all the fighting games that I play, Mortal Kombat by far has the lowest skill ceiling as far as accessibility.
So I like because even I remember like when Mortal Kombat 1 kind of had like this not so great launch, and then Tekken 8 came out. I seen a ton of people. Well, I'm gonna go play Tekken 8 because that was the thing to do like in January, right? All those people went right back over to Mortal Kombat when they started getting destroyed in Tekken. It was like, oh, this shit's not easy because it requires dedication. Yeah. And the thing I even enjoy about Tekken is it's hard, but it feels like the martial artist journey to me. Like because like you have to take time to practice to get good, and then like once you get to a certain level, it was like, oh, they do things a little bit different over here, so now I gotta adjust to this. Like making Tekken King in Tekken isn't easy at all, and I feel like that's what turns people off to it.
Yeah, I think that Mortal Kombat's definitely got the lowest skill ceiling. It's even reflected in what they say in the combat cast. You know, we've made this thing easy. It's easy to do here and there, and they've definitely made things easier in Tekken. Don't get me wrong. Like Tekken Tag 2, Tekken 6, Tekken 7 are much harder than Tekken 8 in terms of like execution. I think system-wise, Tekken 8 might be a little bit more tricky because of the heat system and having to navigate how you use that and dealing with people. But Tekken's always been, next to Virtua Fighter, the hardest fighting game to play, in my opinion. I think KOF has always had the hardest execution, but overall, Tekken is just so grand in its scope that, of course, Mortal Kombat players are going to come over to Tekken and be like, oh my god, like this is too much. One character is more difficult to play than anything in this entire game, anything in Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is very basic. I haven't played Mortal Kombat properly since October last year. I guarantee you I can pick it up and do my hardest Shao Kahn combo. You could show me your favorite character. I'll probably learn the combo in 2 minutes. Yeah. I'll probably learn how to apply an effective strategy as well, something that I can spam over and over. I watched my friend playing Johnny Cage, and he was like, this is how you stagger. This is how you catch someone in like a continuous pressure. And I did it. I was doing exactly what he was doing. But with Tekken, if you say to somebody, do a Kazuya combo, like a proper Kazuya combo with electrics, they're going to be there for like a week trying to do one electric properly. Yeah,
I've heard that for sure. So what would you say right now, if of all the games that you're playing and ones you're making content around, what's the game that you probably look to focus on in the next year as far as all the great stuff that's coming out and all the things that are already out? Like what's the game that you're probably focusing on the most?
In terms of like playing with the people that are on my channel, and that, it's probably going to be Tekken and Sparking Zero. Sparking Zero is probably like the game that I'm looking forward to the most out of all of them. Obviously Black Myth is out next week. I think we're going to be playing that, but long term it's going to be Tekken and Sparking Zero. If Virtua Fighter gets announced, then definitely Virtua Fighter, because I played Ultimate Showdown quite a lot. It'll probably always be a fighting game. I can't see me deviating too much from that. Space Marines will probably take Helldiver's spot very soon, because that looks really, really good. But yeah, in terms of like in the FGC, it's going to be Sparking Zero and it's going to be Tekken. I've really like advocated for people to give Sparking Zero a chance, because I don't think people realize the Tenkaichi games are not like other arena fighter games. They're serious fighting games, and I think when people go from like Ninja Storm or My Hero or one of those arena fighters over to Sparking Zero, they're going to be quite shocked.
See, the thing is, for the reason I smiled when you said it is because, so I make like a lot of Dragon Ball FighterZ clips, right? Because obviously it's my favorite game. I have certain viewers who they're not that good at fighters, and so they kind of advocate for Sparking Zero. So I have this running joke with them where I kind of shit on Sparking Zero all the time. Not because I have anything against it, I just like to pump up Dragon Ball FighterZ. And they were asking me if I'm going to play it. I remember playing, I want to say Burst Limit on Xbox 360. I think that's what the game was. I didn't buy it, a friend bought it. But I remember having a lot of fun with that. But now that I done got into fighters, like, I don't think I'm going to play any of the Dragon Ball game just because it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but I might give Sparking Zero like a little bit of a chance. But I can never really see it replacing fighters for me, because I honestly think Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best fighting game of all time. And it's like, I don't really know why I think that, because it's a lot of games that I enjoy, but I just think from a presentation, from a creativity, like it's the type of game where you and me could both be playing Dragon Ball FighterZ for like, say, like 4 or 5 years, and we're pretty skilled, right? And then we'll see somebody like Wawa use our character, and it's like, that's never even crossed my mind what he just did. I think, and it's kind of like, that's what we complain about games like Mortal Kombat not having those options. That's why I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best game ever, because it's like, the skill ceiling is really as far as your brain can like take it. I mean, there are some limitations eventually, but whatever your brain can conjure up, the game probably can do it, and I just think that's fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think Dragon Ball FighterZ has done a really good job of letting players express themselves. So if you, like you said, if you want to come up with something and try it out, the likelihood is that you can actually do it. But Sparking Zero is also like that. Burst Limit is more in line with the Budokai games, so they were like the 2.5D games, because we had Budokai 1 to 3, Infinite World, and then Burst Limit, and then the Tenkaichi games are separate. With Tenkaichi, if you look at the high level Tenkaichi players, there's a player that I chat to every now and then called Grandmaster Hawk, and the stuff they're doing in there is really tricky. I'd say some of it is even harder to do consistently than some of the things in Tekken, like flight cancels and knowing where to do specific combos and characters having specific ways to play with them, because in a lot of arena fights you press one button and then you do a super move. But in Sparking Zero or the Sparking games, you kind of have to know when to cancel or when to use your flight effectively, or when to use your meter, when to vanish, when to parry or counter. So there's a lot of player expression. But I don't think Sparking Zero can replace Dragon Ball FighterZ. They're too different. Dragon Ball FighterZ is more in line with like a Marvel vs. Capcom, and Sparking Zero is like, it's an arena fighter game, but even that, it exists on its own. I wouldn't compare it to Ninja Storm.
I might give it a chance. Like, it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but even like the way you explained it, you're basically saying that it's a lot more technical than advertised compared to like other arena fighters, is what you're saying.
Yeah, people are gonna be very surprised because based on what people have said, they've said it is literally like the old Tenkaichi games. I'm willing to bet they've probably dumbed it down a little bit, because Tenkaichi 3 was a bit of a mindfuck. It was a lot to deal with. But from what I've heard from people, it's very similar. So I think all the people that play Ninja Storm and My Hero and all those arena fighters that are looking to transfer over, they will be able to, but it's going to be a bit of a shock to the system, I think, when they go in and they realize this game's actually got a lot of systems that I need to wrap my head around. And you'll probably only realize that when you go up against somebody good and they're just throwing you around the map and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, you might have sold me onto something, because I was talking some shit about it and I expected it to be like other games, but if it's more technical, I might give it a chance. I don't want this to be like crazy long, so we don't have like an hour worth of like footage to cut through, but I want to say before we wrap this up, I've heard people saying this, especially like with Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 coming back and all these other games. Do you think that we're in the, what's the word I could use? I guess I could say the grand or golden era of fighting games right now. Do you think like this is the biggest, best selection we've ever had? Or do you think that the classics were stronger compared to where we are now, because games are getting dumbed down some, but it seems to be a lot of representation for fighting games as of late?
I think I wouldn't call this like a renaissance era for the fighting games, but I would say I don't know if I'd say it's the golden age, but I think we're in a good place. I think we're in a much better place than what we were before with Street Fighter 5 and whatever that MVCI was. And then we had Street Fighter Cross Tekken that had so many problems. We're in a much better place now. There's issues now, but I think the issues are nowhere near as bad as what it was in like the mid 2010s or early 2020s. It wasn't a great time then. But we are definitely spot for choice, I think. Street Fighter 6 is good. Guilty Gear is good. Melty Blood I played it a little bit. It's all right. You got Uni, I think, the Fate Stay Night fighting game, I think. Then we've got Dragon Ball FighterZ, Sparking Zero, even Ninja Storm. And Ninja Storm's got its problems, but it's a pretty good fighting game. What am I missing? I guess, I mean, there's Mortal Kombat, but I think Mortal Kombat's really the only one that's like dragging the ship down. Yeah. I don't mean to upset people when I say that, but everything seems either acceptable or really good. And MK1 just seems like a big letdown. We've even got City of the Wolves coming out. That looks really, really good as well. So
yeah, as you was going through the list, I was trying to think to myself, and I was like, I didn't really want to say it, but it's almost disappointing that the biggest franchise that I don't know who has the biggest budget, because I haven't looked into it. I would assume that they have a nice amount of resources to work from as far as financials go. So it is kind of crazy to see that they're like undeniably at the bottom. It's kind of like I don't even feel good saying it. Like, it's not like I'm trying to shit on it. It's just kind of like they undeniably probably are at the bottom, because I mean, I just struggle. I don't struggle to play it as far as like hating it. It's just that why would I turn that on? I can play Tekken or Dragon Ball Fighters or even Street Fighter when I want to pick that up, or Guilty Gear if I want to revisit that. Like, it's at I hate saying it this way, because I don't want my like viewers to take it in a negative light, but I legit only play Mortal Kombat when I'm making content. I don't play it any other time. I don't play it with friends. I don't just play it in the dark when I'm like having a chill night. I only play it when I have the camera on. I don't play it any other time.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign. And I think that it sucks, because I don't want people to think that I want MK to be bad. I really do want MK to be good, because I only have fond memories of it. Outside of this and MK11, which I wasn't a big fan of, everything before that, even MK9, I thought was good. Like, I enjoyed watching MK9. I enjoyed playing it when I was playing it. Even though I fell out of favor with it, I still thought it's a good game. It's just not for me. Armageddon was a lot of fun. Deception, Dead Alliance. I even enjoyed MK4. I know they were goofy games, but they were fun. They were unbalanced, but they were fun. And so I won't even play MK. Like, you've probably seen in my videos, I make a point of not playing it. I'll put another game in the background. And it's not because I want to like continuously dunk on MK. It's that I hope that they do take a long break and they let this bad taste that MK1 has left in everyone's mouths and just forget about this whole stupid reset that they've done. Go back to Scorpion being Hanzo Hasashi.
Yeah.
Go back to how things used to be. I don't care if they do another universe reset. Just set things straight. Come back with a clean slate. Actually get people on the team that know how to produce a coherent fighting game, because they clearly got the like, cinematic side down. When I looked at the Chaos Range trailer, I was like, this looks like a Netflix show, which is, it's not a bad thing, but you need to get the gameplay down as well. So yeah, it sucks that everything is good right now. Everything is good apart from MK, but hopefully it's not the case. You know, there's always going to be like a black horse in the family. Right now it's MK, but hopefully it's not like that in the future.
It just feels resource wise that shouldn't be possible, because even like I had it was like a Facebook memory that popped up like on my gaming page, and it was the launch for Mortal Kombat 1, like the announcement trailer. So like when we first saw Kung Lao like raise his head and raid, and it was like, I remember I was watching the video, watching my reaction live like the very first time, and I could just see the excitement and like the joy in my face, like, oh shit, this looks amazing. And then it was like, we got it, and it's like, no, this. Yeah, and then like when we first got it that first month, it was like, well, okay, we're gonna have faith because we know that they can, like, this is Mortal Kombat, they're gonna come correct. And just weeks went on, and it's just like, this is really the product. Like, this is what we have. And then I knew it was like bad when we had like our first like negative meltdown about it, and they just went radio silent for 8 weeks after constantly preaching communication, which is what Ed Boon was saying before it came out. And I just was like, man, this sucks. Like, this sucks that this is happening. But I think at the same time, like for creators like me and you, I know MK Tom Brady is one who kind of gets that negative reputation sometimes with dunking on the game, but I feel like in reality, everybody who plays this game from and has passion for the franchise and speaks in an honest manner, I think overall we help the game. Like, if we all shield, then it's like we just get a shitty product. I think overall, even if it is like some negative responses and some backlash from some of the things that we say, I think overall the point is like to make sure that the franchise is great, and it can't be great if we don't give like honest criticism. So that's just my take on it.
No, I completely agree with you, and I don't get the people that get upset about it, because like, I'm friends with Sikandar. I was talking to him today, and I'm friends with Ketchup and Mustard, and I haven't spoken to Foxy in a long time, but me and Foxy are cool, and these are all guys that love playing the game, and they're still playing it actively, and they know how I feel about it, but none of them act childish about it. It's like, you know, if you told me, Mike, I don't like Tekken, it's like, oh, I'm not your friend anymore. Just like, just relax. Like, it's just a video game. I don't know why people get so bent out of shape about it. The problem that I have with people is that I will attack the game because I'm not happy with the product. You know, I have a right to my opinion, but then people will attack you personally. Now, I've already made it very clear that doesn't bother me. I always like sort of laugh at it. I always tell people, you know, if you come into my comment section and you're rude to me, I'll just be rude back. But I don't understand the mentality of hearing somebody have a grievance of the game. No matter how much time has gone on, it's my channel. I have the right to talk about as much as I want. But you make it like a personal attack on them. It's a bit of a weird thing, and that's why I jumped to the conclusion that this has to be a child, because there's no way a grown man is watching another grown man say something about their favorite game and they have a hissy fit over it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
See, I don't know if you create content on Facebook or not, but like I do, and so I like, you know, you can see the picture icon. It's grown men who do this shit too. It's bad. Really? Like Twitter, you get like the fake PFPs, because like this is what I've kind of realized, and this is why I lean into it and embrace it. And it's not like fabricated, but it's what I realized is that in order for anything to take off, there has to be some negative connotation to it, right? And so like whenever, like in the past, if I rage, I'm like, oh, I just dumped that clip, I don't need it. Now when I rage, I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll put this on Twitter and like set Twitter on fire. And of course you get like that, you're trash, you're garbage, but then you get the people who understand the point too. But it always raises and elevates the content. So I just accepted that's just something that people need, but it does feel much more prevalent in Mortal Kombat than any other place. And sometimes I wonder, is that based on like the fatalities and the blood and the guts and like the mood of the game? Because I mean, that doesn't happen to me when I play any other game, and I rage at other games I play because that's just natural, you know what I'm saying? But Mortal Kombat is significantly much more, and I just don't know why. But
I just think
it's a real thing.
I think because the game sells so much, you get so many more personalities and people from different walks of life coming over to play it. Whereas something like Tekken, when you're online on Twitter, you normally get the core Tekken people on Twitter talking about it. You do get like casuals chiming in here and there, but you normally see the regular faces. With MK, I feel like it's such a massive franchise, and it's got such global appeal outside of Asia maybe, that everybody's involved in the conversation. And so when you speak bad about little Timmy's favorite game or whatever, they get upset about it. It's like, I'm sure you remember, I don't know how much anime you watched when you were a kid, but I grew up like watching One Piece and Dragon Ball and all that stuff. And I remember people when I was in secondary school, they would talk shit about One Piece, and the kid inside me is like, don't talk shit about One Piece. And that's what I related to. As an adult now, if someone talks shit about One Piece, I'm just like, oh, you're not
Who gives a fuck? Yeah, fuck you.
I don't need to talk to you. It's whatever. But I think it's a little bit of that.
Yeah, I think it's that and like the lower skill ceiling, because I think that there's like, if I see like a Tekken, let's just say Tekken God, and he like tells me his opinion on something, it's like I know how hard it is to get there. So the opinion comes with some validation, even if it's just hours played in the game and it's just more grinding than him being highly skilled, he's still there. Whereas like in Mortal Kombat, you can kind of cheese your way to God and Elder God if you find the right shit. So it makes casuals feel better than what they are. And I think every other fighting game, like it's just hard to be that. Like I play Street Fighter 6 casually, but I'm still Platinum 4. I'm sure if I put the time in, I could be Master or Diamond or all that shit. But if I see somebody who has those ratings, it lets me know that they put time into the game. So I would value their opinion a little bit more. But in Mortal Kombat, because the rating system constantly resets and it's not a career ranking, it's very easy for just anybody to have an opinion, because if you made Elder God, you think you're great, even if it took you 600 matches to do it. So
yeah, no, 100%. Like I've been playing Street Fighter for a long time, so when Bison came out, I got to Master Rank very quickly. And I was Tekken God, but when Lydia came out, I just got rushed down by Lydia, so I've dropped back to Tekken King now. But Tekken's definitely way more difficult to get even semi-competent than Mortal Kombat. I got to Elder God in like a blink of an eye on MK1. I picked up Baraka and Striker before they were even a thing. If you look back on like the early days, like the release days of MK1, that was my first team. I had no idea that they were that powerful. And when I realized how stupid they were, I switched to Shao Kahn and Kung Lao. But yeah, it was a walk in the park. I did it. I could do it with my eyes shut, getting to Elder God at that point. Probably not now. I'm sure the skill level has gone up since the game has been out for longer, but it's still like astronomically easier than Tekken. It's not even not on the same planet. I
got the Bushin and got sent back down to, what's the second one? Second blue? Is it Raijin? I got sent back down before I went back to Tekken, and like I made it to Tekken King. I haven't played ranks. I just took like a mental break. Like I love that shit, because like that's why I say it feels like the martial artist journey, because it's like if you get demoted, you know you have to climb back. It's not like there's next season. It's like, fuck, I gotta kind of like regather my mind because I have to get back up there. Like, bro, I made Tekken King. I was so happy. I'm trying to push our way God of Destruction, but because I beat those ranks as well, like in casual. But man, that game is a monster. But that's kind of what makes it fun and makes it fulfilling. But it can be really tilting when like you lose 5 in a row. That can like, it can demoralize your day. Like for real.
100%. It's put me off gym a couple of times. I've gone into the gym angry. I can't.
Yeah, I've done that shit too, bro. I've done it too.
Yeah, my boy saying to me, "What's wrong, Mike?" I'm like, "I got demoted." He starts laughing at me. I stopped playing that game.
Yeah, that's definitely happened to me for sure, bro. I think it was like when I got demoted twice that weekend, because like you get demoted, so you try to get it back, and then you start angry playing, so now everything tilts you. And I remember like I got demoted twice, and I just remember like I like got off the game and told my girl I was sorry because I was raging, and I like just got off the game and just sat there and thought about it for like an hour. It's like, just let it go. But it was like, it's hard to let it go because like I know I got to do this again and get back. But yeah, man, I really appreciate it, bro. I don't want to hold up too much of your time because I know you're in a much later time zone than I am, bro. But I'm very glad to have this conversation, and hopefully some of our wishes for Mortal Kombat 1 being saved can come true. I'm gonna not hold my breath on that because I just feel like the foundation's broken. But I mean, in the back of my mind, 2v2, maybe, possibility. I mean, I'll put it like this. one thing that I do remember hearing is that some data mining went on, and that was in there. Now, if that's true, who knows? But all the other stuff in the data mine has came true so far, so I'm holding out hope. That's my logic behind it.
Well, if 2v2 drops in the game, it'll be like a new game. The system is going to change completely. And if it does, then more power to MK1. Like, I don't want anyone in the MK scene to get me confused. I don't wish the worst for any of them. Like, I want the game to be good. I want people to be having a good time. I always tell people in my videos, even though I am ripping into the game, if you're having a good time, don't let me ruin that for you. And so I don't have any hate towards the community. There's specific people I don't like, but the community as a whole, I want the game to do well. And if it turns it around, 2v2 comes out, people are happy, I might even give it a try myself, you know, because Noob Saibot's coming back. He's my favorite character to use, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I hope it would be nice if there was just an FGC where everybody's happy and everyone's playing their game and we're not at each other's necks. But at the same time, if I see something I don't like, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call it how I see it.
I feel you, and I'm kind of on that same tip. It's like I don't really what I try to avoid doing more than anything else. I never speak on other creators' things, like or it's like anybody's video clips. I speak on what I think about the game. But it's like if a creator, like let's say like how people like attack me, like when I'm raging in the clip. If I see a creator do that, I won't attack because it's like I know what it's like. Like everybody gets tilted. It's just that some of us are on camera and some of us aren't. So it's like the ones who aren't on camera, you can get tilted and just do it in silence. Whereas like if we put out the clip, then we accept what comes with it. But overall, I just hope that I'm wrong about the duration of the game. But I feel like if cameos are the overall function of the game, there's no way for us to be wrong. So I'm just hoping that they overhaul that. And that's kind of like where it seems like you and me both stand for the most part with that.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. I hope for the best for the MK players. It can't be easy being an MK player right now.
Nah, it can't be. That's why I'm going to play some Tekken right now as soon as we get done with this call. I know what's going to happen 100%. People are going to be in the comments and ask like when we're going to play each other in the game, because the same thing happened when I talked to Sicken. They was like, bro, we need you guys to run a set. And I'm like, yo, yeah, I do realize like people just like to talk about the game sometime. Like I enjoy talking about Mortal Kombat more than I enjoy playing it. Now Tekken, I'll play that shit all day.
Yeah, I'm happy to play Tekken. Yeah, I've been playing Tekken since I was a kid, so we'll jump on it whenever you want, man. I'm good to. I won't play MK. Sorry to anyone that's asking.
Yeah, I'm not.
It. It's just
I'm not excited to play it. I play when I record Liu Kang, and that's about it. But some Tekken, I'm definitely down for that, bro.
I'll play some MKX with people. I'm happy to play MKX.
I never played it.
I think MKX is sick.
Yeah, okay, I only played like 5 minutes.
They just dropped a trailer for Ultimate Mortal Kombat Deception. That Ermac guy has like modded and added Tremor and Reika and all that, so it's looking really good. I put it in the description in one of my videos. I'm gonna try and download it and give it a shot, but it does look really good.
What can you play it on? What is it going to be available on? Is this PC or?
Yeah, it'll be PC. It's running through some sort of software. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but you should check the trailer. It looks really, really good.
I'm gonna have to check it out on YouTube and see. I'm gonna have to look for that out there because that sounds pretty dope, actually.
Yeah, I think you can play 2v2 on that 2 players. So if we can, then I'll definitely play that. But yeah, I'm always down to play Tekken. Just hit me up.
For sure, brother. I appreciate the conversation, bro. You have a great night, man.
Yeah, man. Take care of yourself. I'll catch you soon.
For sure, bro. Peace.
Peace.
You are?